but he maintains his unbeaten record, and it's a treble for Willie Mullins and Ruby Walsh.
See the Stars wins a 4th Guineas for Mick Cannan.
Hello again. It's been about 2 minutes since we recorded the last video, although I suppose it's probably been a few days for you lot. Ben's brought his missus along to record this one. She'd just be chilling in the background, so sorry about that. We're going to move on to Thursday, so we'll get straight into it. No more chit chat. The Turners Novice Chase, another short price favourite in Bob Ollinger at 11 to 10. And then you've got a bunch of horses that probably won't go. Galloping de Champs at 5s. Classical Dream definitely won't go at 10s. Neither will Brave Man's Game 16s.
Is Classical Dream in this market?
Yeah, Classical Dream 10 to 1. Anyway, let's kick it off. I'm sure Dan's very inspired, as he was just saying about this one. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I was just saying that we don't want to we look fools, keep tipping up these odds-on shots, or well, not tipping obviously, but you know, keep siding with them and trying to find something bloody to go against them. But yeah, you know, it's another one, isn't it, where, you know, really Bob Ollinger should win this. He's had 2 runs now of offences, hasn't he? And you know, he looked really improved on his last start. Ran up against a solid yardstick in Capodanno. I think he's a pretty useful horse, to be honest, and he won comfortably at the end. Yeah, you've just gone through it. What's going to turn up? The ones that are interesting, obviously, this L'Homme Presse is a big improver, but in terms of form, previous form and things to go on, and you know, he's got a lot to do to come up when you're coming up against a horse as well regarded and has got the form in the book like Bob Ollinger. Probably got a lot to do, and he's next in. So this is going to be an odds-on chop, absolutely guaranteed. Does Horton Collares go for this race?
Yes, I think so.
He looked pretty good on his debut, didn't he?
Triumph, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he ran in the tri. Yeah, he was the. I actually backed him each way last year for that race, because I thought it was just so unlike you know, Willie Mullins to basically put a horse in who was having his bloody debut for him, coming over from France. And I thought he did all right on his chase debut. You know, he did it well enough, really, didn't he? And again, beating, you know, probably nothing special, but solid yardstick. And yeah, he's a big price at 14s or whatever you can get him at.
12's non-running.
In all honesty, there you go. I mean, that's if he turned up, he'd probably be shorter than that, given just the lack of horses that are going to turn up for this race. This is going to be a small field, and
I see no more than 6 winners.
I can see Bob Ollinger honestly going off 2 to 1 on shorter, because I just think that people have so much confidence in this horse. The people that are in the know, and you know, the people that have got the money and the dough to be able to change markets have so much confidence in this horse, and the yard at home have so much confidence in him that I can just see this being a 6 or 7 runner field and really see Bob Ollinger going off 2 to 1 on. I can, and whether he wins, we'll find out. But you know, I think he probably will. I think he can probably afford a couple of mistakes and maybe still win. He's got a big engine, and yeah, he's the one to
I don't know if I'll go as far as saying he can afford a few mistakes. Like, I thought L'Homme Presse New Year's Day at Cheltenham was electric. Jumping was really, really good. And after the last, pushed on, extended. So there's a bit of an engine there too. So yes, look, I think Bob Ollinger will win. Sort of hope he wins from multiples, but I'd rather have a bet on L'Homme Presse 8 to 1 each way than Bob Ollinger at 11 to 10.
What did you think of Bob Ollinger at Punchestown? Because he hit a bit of a flat spot, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was in trouble around the bend, and then sort of someone just looked like he put a turbo up his ass, and away he went again after that.
Yeah, it reminded me of Altior coming up the hill.
Yeah. Oh, wait there, he looks in trouble, then 3 or 4 strides later, wait there, no action.
Yeah.
I think that it's the yard that say, don't they, he's got a huge engine, this horse, and I just think that, you know, he might look in trouble again, but I think Capodanno is a really good horse and has got a fair chance in the Brown. Is it Brown Advisory Novices Chase or whatever? Is that what it is now?
Yes.
Festival Novices Chase. Anyway, he's got a chance in that. And I just think, I just thought that if he puts up a figure that is not too far away from that, he'll probably do this. And I think he's improved on his first start. I think he'll improve again. And yeah, I mean, it's just uninspiring. But it is though, isn't it? It's just not great. It's just going to be like the Arkle, small field, but instead of having a couple of, I see what you're saying about long press, but he's still got a bit of a way, isn't he? For me, anyway. He's probably got. I know the figure had him at 159, but he's probably got about £10.
He'll come to top 3, no doubt about that.
I think it's one of those races.
They may as well
one of
go
those
for it.
races you can probably bet something each way because, like you say, it's probably going to be a short field. I like what you were saying about Holton Collier, though. I mean, he's only run 3 times for Willie.
Yeah.
Third in a Triumph. Third in, was it the Future Champions Novice Hurdle at Punchestown? And then he won easily on debut. And I think he had Mount Leinster behind and one other one. Gentleman to Me.
Gentleman to Me. Yeah.
The one thing that would make you think, is he going to go here? He is in the Irish Arkle still, which is 2 miles. Is it 2 mile 1.5? So he could theoretically go back and run in the Arkle, and he's a similar price to what he is in the Turners. But he did. He won.
Okay.
Did he win? Yeah, he did. He did.
I think.
Yeah, go.
I think the issue is, Willie's got too many for the Arkle. He's got to set one up in trip.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this horse won over 2 mile 2 in France on heavy ground, so you would think that he'll get the trip for sure.
Oh, he'll get it. And the way he ran it in the Triumph would suggest he'd get this trip definitely. So I'd have no query.
Just back to what I said a minute ago, it wasn't 12s, no run and no bet. So you'd still be taking 14 to 1, and you're taking the chance. But like you say, the amount of horses that Willie's got for the Arkle, you'd think that this one would probably go here.
He'd be half the price, wouldn't he?
I mean, he's 7-2 for the Irish Arkle. What's in that? Fernie Hollow, Blue Lord. A good race, St Sam. So, he comes out and wins that, and he goes from 14s to... I can see him being 5s or 6s because there isn't a strong each way bet against Bob Ollinger, and the bookies will always shorten 1 or 2 against him. Gallopine, obviously, in there at 4 to 1. He's most likely not to run here. Long press could be punted in. You can already see some 6s, and then it's just about guessing what's there. But looking through the field, Houghton Collier is probably one that might actually go. 14 to 1. So I'm not saying he's going to beat Bob Ollinger, but I think if he gets there, he'll definitely be in the top 3.
No, Le Home Press for me. Le Home Press, yeah. Dan?
Yeah, Bob Ollinger, like I said, I think he'll be 2 to 1. So.
Cool. Right, we will move on up. We'll skip the batons because I haven't got a needle with me. And we will go to the Ryanair Chase, another race where we have a 5 to 4 clear favourite. What do you reckon?
And an absolute banker.
A banker, yeah? Oh, go on then, Ben. Tell us why.
Absolute banker. There's what's going to beat him. There's nothing here that's going to beat him. I thought Sunday he was so impressive. We were chatting last week and Dan was saying, I'd like to see him run again. I actually hadn't realised he was entered for Thurles on Sunday. And then when I seen him run, his jumping was great. Engines there. He's battered them. You look the field. Ennigermain, second favourite. That says it all. He ain't going here. St. Calvados, no. He ain't getting anywhere near Allaho. Chamblou won't be running here, I don't think. And then I'm going to stop. I'm actually not going to
run then.
I was
reading. You think he'll just go entry?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back in time. I think he took a serious.
But obviously, if he does run, he definitely will run in the Ryanair.
Sorry. I just don't.
You mean if you might think Miss Cheltenham? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Miss Festival.
Yeah. Fair enough. I just knew that people were on about the Ultima, weren't they? Because he's like near enough 8 to 1 for that. But I know he'd been absolute. Look, he'd probably got about £20 in hand, didn't he? But they're not going to go for that when. You never know, do you? You never know how far they swayed they might be after Allaho's performance, because he, like I say, on his run the last day when he came down the last, he'd have £20, wouldn't he, on the handicapper? So You never know, but I think they said if he'd go for Cheltenham, he'd go for the Ryanair. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah, no.
yeah, it's one of those races, isn't it?
Go on, George. Give us your math. Go on, give us your math theory. Go on, you know.
Alaho the other
Go on,
day,
give
he
us your
won
math
like
theory.
a 1 to 3 shot should win, didn't he? So I don't think you can really take anything from that. But he was pretty impressive. The one horse we obviously all wish could jump is Asterion Forlonge, because he's one of those horses that's going to get to the end of his career and it's going to be what could have been. Every time that he's travelling, he's always travelling well. He looks like he's going to be in contention, and then someone up there looking down on him just pushes him over. So maybe Asterion Forlonge.
He is going to have his day in the sun.
Yeah, it's one of those races. I think St. Calvados will run his race. Mr. Fisher, another cliff horse. So it's yes, it's a hard race. Alaho should win, but I don't think there's any value in it. I couldn't bring myself to back Asterion because, well, you know why. So
What are you back? You're just backing in the hope he doesn't.
you are, aren't you? Because if you could back Asterion Forlonge with fuller insurance, what price is he going to be? 4 to 1 or something? It's going to be a lot of difference. Not 4 to 1, but you get my point. And the rest of the market's pretty uninspiring. So I think it's one of those races that you're going to look at on the day, and you might find something each way, something that'll inspire you. But
Yeah.
I think Alaho will win. Like I said in the last video, unless Asterion Forlonge cannons into him and trips him up, I think Alaho will win.
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. Alaho, come on the Chimney Park train. Choo choo choo.
yeah,
The Chimney Park Express.
yeah. I thought that was the best performance. Like I was saying to you, obviously I was saying to you guys when that I was. It's quite funny how a run can really change what camp you're in. That I thought he was you know, you could take him on at 7 to 4, because before he ran the other day, because obviously, you know, if he'd have gone straight to the festival off of that, I would have not have been keen on him. I thought he had a hard race when he came back, and I just, you know, I like to see a horse come out and show that they've got over that. And I tell you what, that's the most impressive performance, bar Shishkin and Energamine, in terms of a single horse winning with so much authority. That was the most impressive performance I've seen going into Cheltenham. I don't see how these get anywhere near him. I don't even think they see which way he goes. I just think it's ridiculous how simple this could be. He goes straight to the front, and they're just not even going to know how they're not going to know what's hit them, because they, you know, you're talking about, look, St. Calvados was swinging in the King George and should have, you know, obviously it's been well documented. I thought they were a bit harsh taking Gavin Sheehan off the horses. I just thought the stick that he got was really harsh. You know, he clearly went there too early. He clearly knows that. Whether he would have, it wasn't the difference between him winning. Tornado Flower was going to win that race regardless, but he just doesn't stay 3 miles. Back to this trip, he finished second in it, didn't he? Behind Min, was he beating like short head or something?
Rallying late.
You know, he ran a belter, but I'm not being funny. Alaho would have beat Min, absolutely. I think Alaho would beat Min.
Do you think?
Yeah, I really do, because I just think. I think given that the 2 performances he's put up, obviously the last day and at Cheltenham.
In my opinion, he's severely underrated.
I just think the last day, I was, like I said, I was so far against him in terms of I thought he was 7 to 4 was so short for a horse that had not proven he'd got over that run, and you know, Asterion Forlonge was absolutely cruising, and we didn't really know what was going to happen when he fell, but I just thought he blew me away when I thought he was short on the day. I thought 4 to 11, no chance of me getting involved there. Well, they were right, because my God, you know, I know that Fakir Duderies made a really bad error, didn't he, at like second fence or something, which, you know, it takes a lot out of you, but he had a long time to get back into the race. It didn't make a difference. If he puts up, he got 178 for that, they won't get near 178. The highest I think bar that would be what you're talking, early 170s. The one I'd fear is Asterion Forlonge if he can stand up. Chamblou, if he came here, obviously, you know, the performance he put in the last day was really impressive, but he's not come up against a horse like Alaho. The only thing that could get him beat is if a horse takes him on and really they both just go at it and get knackered. But he's a strong stayer over this trip. You know, look at how he ran in the 3 miler. You know, he did. You know, when you look at him now, he did like that is unbelievable form. How the hell did he get anywhere near winning that race? Like that is unbelievable form. Who won that race again?
Well, at Christmas.
It was Champ, wasn't it?
Oh,
Bloody
yeah.
hell. Champ won it. And I mean, I know
Oh,
Champ's
okay.
not been great over fences, but he's a hell of a horse on his day. You look at him over hurdles, he could win, obviously he runs at the weekend, but you could be talking about a stayers hurdle winner. You know, obviously he won the RSA, which proves how good he is. And you talk about a Gold Cup winner, that form's unbelievable form. These have got nowhere near that standard of form, and they've now found his trip. Yeah, honestly, I think 5-4, no run, no bet, bet 365 is perfectly fine. I honestly think that's too big. I'd have him 4-6 at that sort of no run and no bet. Best odds guaranteed as well, but that won't matter because he won't go any bigger than that. But no run and no bet, 5-4. I would have him a lot shorter than that. I really would. I think I just think he's a bomb proof.
I agree. He wins.
I think him and Honeysuckle are the two bomb-proof ones, bar any of them. Bar any. In terms of, I think Allaho has gone into... He couldn't even be number 1, to be honest, over Honeysuckle, just purely because of how good I thought he was at the weekend. I just couldn't believe it. And I just think they've just got no chance. So you'll be playing for second or third, because he'd have to fall. So
Honeysuckle 4-6 or Allaho 5-4? What would you rather be on?
Allaho 5-4 every single day of the week.
Yeah, they're both going to win.
It's not even a. That's a no contest.
They're both going. They're good, but they're both going to win bar fall. Like so.
Yeah, I think they both will, but I think obviously like you say at 5-4 or 4-6, you know, you get a number and no bet. Yep, because I just think Allaho's the rivals that he'll face are not as good as the ones that Honeysuckle will face, and that says a lot about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think the best horse he's got is probably a 170 horse, and he is not a 170 horse. He's at least mid 170s.
Yeah.
Over a 2.5 mile trip. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
As in, you usually, you know, like the horses, your really good horses are 2 milers or they're 3 milers. You know what I mean? Your real top high rated horses. He's going to be what, 175? He's running over 2.5 miles.
174
That's unbelievable.
now.
To put them figures up. Yeah, to put them figures up is really, really impressive.
174.
He wins,
What do you think Min's highest rating was?
Yeah, I think, if I'm being honest, the only horses that could probably run against him and probably beat him are both running in the champion chase. Shishkin might beat him and Energamine might, but I don't think Energamine would stay. So Shishkin is the only horse I think that could beat him. And as we know, at 8-15, he's not going to be bloody running in that. So, yeah, fill your boots for me, as in terms of after 5-4, he won't be 5-4 for much longer. I can't see that.
Yeah, quiz for you, Dan.
Moving on, stairs.
174 Allaho. What was Min's highest rating? It was after.
Knowing the handicap.
It was after.
Given his bloody Aintree.
Yeah, exactly what you're about to say. It was after Aintree when he beat Politalog by 20 lengths.
Yeah, 176.
No, 172. Yeah.
Was he? Well, there you go then. Yeah, I honestly, I just think that was the best performance we saw Min put in. Was that win at Aintree? Yeah, honestly, do you know what? He might even beat him. It's ridiculous, but I just think he is. He's just got such an engine as well. He's got everything you want.
Yeah.
He is. He's just got everything.
Right, we'll go on to something a little bit more competitive in terms of the field, at least, with the Stayers Hurdle. Current favourite, Classical Dream, 11-4, after beating Flooring Porter. Champ at 7-2, a horse that we might not have considered for the Stayers Hurdle a little while back. Flooring Porter, 5-1, as mentioned. Fan favourite, Time Hill, 13-2. Appreciate it, 10s. Roxana, 14s. And then you jumped Galvin, 20-1. Sporting John, 20-1. And up from there, there's about 100, maybe even 200 horses entered in this race. So it's a bit of a guess, really.
Well, at least we've got 4 to pick from instead of 1.
Yeah, it's a bit more competitive. Which one do you think of the 4? Yeah.
Who, me? Well, I think I'd go for the biggest priced, because I don't think there's that much in it. In terms of who could, you know, it's hard. It is really hard because, to be fair, you know, none of them are really each way price set from Flooring Porter. And I'm not going to lie, you know, he's as much ability as he's got. He's a bit of a freak, isn't he? He's a bit of a nutter. That's putting it polite. You know, he's just not reliable, and he can throw in an absolute DOS. I thought he put up a really good performance last year, but I did think he got an easy time, and I think that's essential to him putting up a performance. I think he needs the lead, and I think he needs to just have it his own way. Classical Dream depends. I mean, you can get 11-4, but obviously that's not number no bet. So, but 2-1 number no bet's probably about right, really, because
you think he'd run?
He could win. Well, he could win plenty of these, given just the class that he has as a supreme winner. That's able to now step up 3 miles and run as well as he is. He's 2 from 2.
They gave him a soft one at Leopardstown, I think.
Oh yeah, and you know, on that form, you'd say like, oh, is he 2-1 and Flooring Porter's 5-1? But do you know what? I don't think the making the running suited Classical Dream as much as anything. He got the lead, and the thing is, when he got that lead, Paul Townend because he got that lead, he couldn't take him back, could he? He had to take the lead that he got and thought, do you know what? I'm not going to give him these lengths back. It could have been the deciding factor on what won that day. But I think there's a little bit more to it than that, in the fact that I just don't think the stop-start gallop helped Classical Dream himself, and obviously he had to sort of make it a stop-start gallop, and it was a bit weird. It was obviously a messy race. I think a bigger field and like a bit of a more pace will suit Classical Dream, just because he can quicken so well. I'd be well, you know, it's another one. They've got some really good potential stayers here, but just because he's the price he is, you know, he's 5-1 now, so I say that I thought he was bigger, to be honest, but I like Time Hill, and I think he's solid for the top 3. So, and I think one of them bombs out the 4, and I don't think Time Hill is one. So, I think his running France was, you know, it's France in it, and you know that crap they go on Married Man's Gallop there. They just crawl. It's just pathetic. It's an absolute joke.
On the ground shape.
Yeah, the ground's awful, and they just go a terrible, like, the gallop is just, you know, I'd probably be able to keep up with half the time. It's just ridiculous, and it's not going to suit a stayer like Time Hill. And he's got the Cheltenham form in the book, and I thought he did really well the last day. I know Champ beat him pretty convincingly, but I thought he stuck his neck out. He showed a hell of a lot better performance, and if he comes on from that, yeah, he's got a chance. So,
yeah,
Time Hill.
Ben?
Why not?
Well, I'm in the Flooring Porter camp because if Danny Mullins ain't going to make the same mistake again, he's going to get this horse to the front. And I think it's a big difference getting the horse to the front. You know, he was tailing Classical Dream the way, and you know what? Like, you know, it just shows tomorrow. Like they're if Classical Dream stays sound, it could be very hard to beat because obviously very, very classy horse, supreme winner, and like, you know, every time he murdered that field and. At the end was it Punches time? The end of last season, wasn't it? He just come out of nowhere and absolutely murdered that field. Turned up this year. He won twice, isn't it? Since he come back, runs tomorrow.
Just once.
Once, sorry, yeah. Runs tomorrow. But that's going to be next week. That's going to be last week. Whenever this video gets released, but he's going to piss the Galmoy hurdle tomorrow, like so against Royal Kahala, like, you know, he's going to piss up there. Like, this is a really good race, and it's probably not the biggest. You know, it's not one that you're going to get absolutely stuck into something, like, because, you know, any of the top 4 can win it. But I don't know. I said all season. I think Flooring Porter. I ain't going to change my mind now. So yeah, Flooring Porter for me.
Yeah, I backed Flooring Porter just before Christmas at 9-1, just on the fact that I thought it was good value. Obviously, he's 5-1 now, contracted a bit.
It's going to be a great race, though.
It was a good run behind Classical Dream.
It's got all the ingredients.
And I hate to admit it, but Paul Townend actually gave a good ride on Classical Dream, which, you know, apparently he can do that.
For once.
No, only half kidding. So yeah, I backed Flooring Porter 9-1. I do just want to mention one horse that I was telling Dan about before the race that you can back at 65-1 on the exchange at the minute. Horse hasn't run over a hurdle for 2.5 years. Obviously, it's Melon that we're talking about here. He's
For anybody that couldn't have guessed.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of talk that he was going to be reverting to hurdles just after Christmas. So at the minute it is rumour, and of course he's 65 to 1, so we don't know anything about it. His last 9 runs, interestingly, have been in Grade 1, so they clearly think this horse, despite the quite a few poor performances, they clearly think the horse is a top horse. He was only 5 lengths behind Allaho and the John Durkin in December, so I think, it's hard to tell what we can get from that. But he was another one of the horses on the long list that have been hampered by a steering phalange falling, so he might have been a little bit closer had he not been impeded a little bit. I'm not saying he would have won, but it just shows that he does retain his ability. Obviously, he was second in the Supreme years and years ago, second in a couple of champion hurdles, so he knows how to jump a hurdle. 65 to 1 is a ridiculous price if he turns up. 20 to 1, non-runner, no bet, if you think he might go to the Ryanair, but I think he's between the two at the minute. So if you've got a couple of quid from your 5 free spins you get on Betfair, chuck it at 65 to 1. Well, don't, because I might do that.
Go on, man.
But yeah, Florent Porter, I think it would be the one that might just turn up and give his best on the day. Nothing else really. It's one of those races, isn't it?
No.
Right. We will go, if I can find the right tab.
What is it? It's the Willie Mullins Mares Novice Chase or
Hurdle, yeah, the Willie Mullins benefit.
Although not last year.
No, that's very true. Yeah.
But the Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper spoil the party.
Yeah, that's it.
The same way they're going to spoil it on the Tuesday in the Mares Hurdle this year. All right, thank you.
Well, I don't think any of us found a winner last year. So, Ben, do you want to kick us off? What's going to win this year?
I don't really like this race. I don't really have a strong opinion because, what odds can I have on Willie? What odds can I have on Willie?
8 to 13.
Just to buy it then.
I thought I was being very generous there.
Yeah, you were. Like the one at the top of the market at the minute, at Algior Devasi, like quite impressive at the Ferry House. Don't know if we're going to see her again before Cheltenham. Let's just check if she's any entries.
She's had one run, hasn't she?
Yeah, one run. She's actually I sent her this Saturday in the Mares Solviana Mares Hurdle at Ferry House. So that'll be interesting to see what she's like there. I think that's might have been the same race the Willie's favourite ran in last year. Well, what was
yes, the Solar.
the one Galwa.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but the one at the minute, I'm not gonna have a bet until the day. The one I might have a bet on at the minute is Grand G. Got really good form. The bumper last year, the champion bumper last year, and that run at Christmas was quite good. Was quite good. I thought that run at Christmas, and I don't know if she's going to go here, but I'm hoping she does. Like, 4.5 lengths behind Mighty Potter in the grade 1 at the Leopardstown at Christmas. So yeah, that's just my wee opinion on this race at the minute. I probably feel the same way about this race as Dan feels about the cross country. So yeah, I'll let you boys tell me something different.
Go on, Dan.
Yeah, look, not much. There's not really much opinion, I guess, you can have on it. I have backed that Allegory Devasi. I've not backed her at the price she's now, but I have backed her. I think she's some places she's 3-1, which I think is remarkably short. Given she was entitled to do what sort of what she did when she made a debut. The thing is with her is she's massive, isn't she? She's huge. You saw her there; she dwarfed them. She's very big, and she's in the right colours, if you like. Maybe people are doing it because they're liking into he's had very good mares, hasn't he, Richie? So he could have another here, and I think that's probably a part of the reason why she's shorter.
It's got to be factored in.
She should be really. Yeah, exactly. That they've had so many. Bloody hell, they've had I don't know how many. Vroom Brew. No, not Let's Dance. Limini. Honestly, Annie Power, obviously.
Annie Power.
Yeah, they've had loads, haven't they? And,
Benny.
Yeah, exactly. That was the one I was thinking. Not Vroom Vroom, Benny. Yeah. So, the plenty of mares that have gone on and excelled in these sort of races in this race. So I can see why she's favourite. But 3-1 is not appealing at all.
Any of them coming up,
But I do think she has a very sound chance, and I think it'd be interesting to see what she does at the weekend. Obviously, you said she's entered on Saturday, is it? So
yeah, great three.
Same race as Grangie.
Yeah, if she goes and wins that, she's going to be fairly short, and she's probably going to deserve to be fairly short. But there's a few good bump horses in here. Brandy Love and LA Bell. They were pretty decent. So it's not sewn up at all, and it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I have gone with Allegory de Bassi. I'll stick with her for now. Yeah. So.
George, any
I like a horse that can run in a novice race 2 years in a row.
Yeah. And won the same after a county from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, Glenzavantrim. How did you guess? It's like we talked about this before.
My one last year.
Yeah.
That'd be about right. Come and steam it this year at 16-1 after last year's shit.
I think we find with these races where, look at the field.
Gloucester Maiden Tiger New Year's Day, was it? The 27th of December. Gloucester Maiden Tiger.
If we look at these races, there's a lot of times when, especially with the young fillies and mares, where they turn up and they've had one run, 2 runs, and they just get scared out of it. We see it all the time. So I think particularly in this, and even in the Mares Hurdle, I like to back a horse that's got plenty of experience, which obviously Glenzavantrim has, having had a novice campaign last year. She came back out in November in that field of about 15 or 16, where I backed her on the day, and she was absolutely cruising, 6 horses wide round the bend. Lost about 10 lengths doing that, and then hit the second last and completely lost all her chance. But if she was positioned better in that race, I'm convinced she would have won. And then she came out and absolutely hosed up at long odds on back in December, just as you were saying there, Ben. I think she's a big price, and the reason why is that with this Willie Mullins recency bias, we've got 3 or 4 horses in there that have run once or a handful of times that we don't know a lot about, that are all obviously going to be short because everyone thinks that they're the next best thing. But we're being hit in the face by a horse that's been there, done it, it's ran at the festival, it's finally won a race now, which I think is a big thing. And she's 16-1. I think that's a crazy price. And at a stretch,
fair enough, sure.
At a stretch, I think it's one of the best bets of the day, backing her each way, because half of these won't turn up. A quarter of them are going to underperform due to, potential ratings that don't turn out to be true, or getting scared out of it. Some of them, a lot of them that are in the market, will be just put away for next year. They don't tend to rush these mares unless they think they've got a strong chance, or they think they're not good enough, so they're just going to run at 50-1 anyway. So yeah, 16-1, Glenzavantrim. We put her up last year, so I'll put her up again.
Hey, stay with her.
Right, we have come to the end, so as is customary, we'll go for our best bet of the day. Starting with you first, Dan.
Yeah, thanks. Allaho, absolutely. No, it was an easy one. Allaho at 5-4 is an absolute certainty for me. Well, as close as you can get. I hate that word because he could fall or anything, but I think he's a really, really, really solid.
Ben? Same, yeah. Yeah, just to be different, I'll go for Glenzavantrim at 16s, although if Mellon does show up to the stay at 65-1.
65-1.
No, we'll go for Glenzavantrim at 16-1. Right, we are at the end, so hopefully we've found a few more winners. And we'll be towards the end of the week when we preview Friday. So hopefully by now everyone's up a few quid, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, you're knackered.
Yeah, I mean, we call
not,
Friday
it's
guarding day because you just don't want to get your wall out, basically.
Yeah, I call it Bookies Day Friday. That's when they get it all back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're not up by Thursday, just forget about it. Try again next year.
Right, we'll leave it there then. And we'll be back next time with the Friday preview. And probably by the time this one's out, I forget that it's only next week. It's tickets are booked, flights are booked, hotels booked. So I will be there, whether the horses run or not, with these hailstorms that are going to be coming on Saturday. Yeah, so I'm sure if I can't avoid you, I'll probably see you there. Yeah, by then we'll probably change everything. But yeah, that is it. We won't rabbit on anymore, as I'm sure you're sick of us. All right.
Nice one.
Cheers.